they took my room away and basically told me to go home. And y'all, I flipped out. Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. So today we will be doing a little story time while I do my makeup. I don't really like to wear a lot of makeup, and this will not be a tutorial this time. If y'all would like me to do this as a tutorial, depending on how it turns out, comment down below and let me know. I really can't multitask, so that's another reason why this will not be a tutorial. The story time will be about how I almost didn't get into Spelman. This is like a classic story that I tell people, especially people who think I'm all bougie and privileged and spoiled, or however y'all want to put it. Literally, me getting into Spelman was a blessing, because baby girl, I was not about to be there. The fact that I graduated from Spelman is a whole blessing in disguise, because if y'all even knew the struggle of me getting in there and staying, y'all would be like, why would you even put yourself through that type of stress? Let me start off with my foundation. Long story short, I wanted to go to Spelman so bad. Like, I'm a super competitive person, so I googled the top schools in the world. I know that sounds crazy, super cliche, but I knew I wanted to go to a black college. So Spelman was ranked #1 historically black college for women. I mean, I didn't necessarily want to go to an all-girls school, but it just, everything about it just seemed super dope. My guidance counselor was like, you haven't applied for any schools? And I was like, yeah, I'm gonna go to Spelman. And she was just telling me how expensive it was and make sure I do scholarship, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, okay. And then she was like, what other schools you gonna apply for? And I was like, if I don't get into Spelman, I'm just gonna figure it out after. Because I really believe that when I set my mind to something, it will happen. And for the most part, it does end up working out that way. Not because I'm like lucky, but I be working really hard. Like, I used to force myself to get 4.0s. Like, if I got anything under a A in a class, I was staying after, I was coming early, I was doing extra credit. Like, I work really hard at everything I do. I don't take shortcuts, I don't be cheating. I mean, I used to cheat my way through high school, but whatever. But literally, I work hard for everything I have. So I'm like, why wouldn't I get in? Like, my grades are good. I have plenty community service. I used to do community service just because I'm a nice person and I like helping people. Yeah. But no, for real, I'm really sweet. Like, I like helping people. I like giving back, especially people in my community. When I actually know what I'm doing, I like to be able to show people the ropes, and it's always good to put somebody else on. Wait a minute. I applied for school. I didn't hear back because my mail was sent to my mom's house and I wasn't staying with her. I was staying with my boyfriend, but that's a whole nother story for another day. So I kept blowing her up like, Mom, did I get my acceptance letter? Because they start posting people. My classmates were getting their schools and scholarships posted on the wall. And I'm like, dang, if I don't get into this school, I'm going to have to go to Marquette or something. But I didn't want to apply for other schools because I knew if I got into a school home or somewhere that was local, I would be set on that, or I would convince myself to stay home. But I really wanted to go to Atlanta, and I wanted to go to a historically black college. So I ended up calling my school because I was like, dang, everybody is getting their acceptance letters. I don't understand where mine is at. So I ended up calling Spelman. They were like, your acceptance letter, like everything is good to go, like you should have it. So I called my mama and I was like, did I get it? And she was like, oh yeah. Long story short, she didn't want me to go to Spelman because it was in Atlanta, and I lived in Wisconsin, Milwaukee. So I rushed over there, got my acceptance letter from her, and we were looking at the acceptance letter, like the financial aid and everything. And financial aid comes with the, what is it, tentative award letter. So it's basically telling you how they think you should pay for college with like grants and scholarships, and then they calculate all the different ways that you can basically afford to pay for Spelman, which was $40,000 a year. Yeah, I was crazy. $40,000 a year. So in my head, I'm like, okay, cool. I'm thinking, I knew I had some scholarships, but I knew that I hadn't applied for scholarships like that. But me being so anxious, I'm like, dang, is this how much money I'm getting? And my mom was like, yeah, oh, you good to go, blah, blah, blah. Like, basically, we thought the tentative award letter, which is basically a sample award letter, was what they were awarding me. So I hadn't even applied for anything else. I just assumed that that was they paid for me to come there. So ended up getting to Spelman and signing in because I had gotten my housing plan. Everything was just seemed straight. No, I get there, they like, oh, your acceptance, your room and board had been taken away because you didn't complete your financial aid. So I'm like, Ma, you didn't do the financial aid? And she's like, I ain't do nothing. You didn't ask me to do anything. So they tell us to go to the financial aid office. Get to financial aid office. Y'all, we get to financial aid office and they're like, you don't have no money, none, zero. Didn't even sign the Pell Grant, didn't even sign the freaking financial aid package, like, to get any money from them. And they took my room away. They took my room away and basically told me to go home. And y'all, I flipped out. I was screaming, crying. The financial aid office, they had to close down the office. I was on the floor acting a fool, like being dramatic, as I do. All on the floor crying, I can't go home. More so because I was like embarrassed. I'm like, dang, I done told my whole family. I done had a going away party. Like, I don't play about my reputation. And that's sad. But really, I was like, oh, I'm not going home. And I'm just pouring my heart out to this lady. Like, we just drove 13 hours. My whole life is outside in the van. I cannot go home. What can you do for me? I'm showing her my grades. I'm like, I really worked hard. I really didn't know. And she just looking at my mom and my parents like, my dad, he be working hard. So he be like, listen, y'all asked me to bring you. You asked me to pay for books, all that. Like, I don't know nothing about this. So she like, let me see what I could do. She's like, I just can't believe y'all wouldn't like follow up, or y'all didn't know that she didn't have this money. But like, I'm a first generation college student at that. Like, nobody in my immediate family graduated from college. I'm the first kid that was attending college, so they hadn't even, my parents hadn't even had to go through that, applying and everything that I was going through with college. So the financial aid advisor literally told me to come back the next day. Mind you, my mom had drove with my dad and she was going to fly back to Milwaukee. So her plane was leaving the next day. And it's like, they thought they were dropping me off and just going back home. And my dad was going to stay in Atlanta for a couple days or whatever they had planned. My cousin brought me back that morning before, because my class was doing like freshman orientation. So on top of everything I was going through, I was missing orientation. So girl, you can't afford to be missing nothing. You already don't even know how to apply for school. So what you gonna do when they learning how to get through school and you missing it? See, look, I'm always behind, but I end up catching up. I came back to the financial aid office and she was like, I can give you this scholarship, but like you gotta basically get a 3.5 or higher. I'm like, okay, I got it. So I'm like, I got you. Y'all, that's a whole another story for another day. But I got the scholarship by the grace of God. Like, I will forever be grateful for Miss Lenora Jackson. Like, I'm gonna call her Lenora Angel. She was an angel. She really, if it wasn't for her and Keith, I would not have like been at Spelman. So she ended up giving me the scholarship. I still didn't have room and board because they had given away my room, but she put me on a wait. They put me on a wait list. Eyebrows be the hardest part, so that I could get a room as soon as one became available. So that was cool because I really didn't care. I just wanted to be enrolled. So I picked out all my classes and I was going for psychology pre-med. Well, at first it was biology pre-med, and I was like, nah. Then I went for psychology pre-med. And I was like, nah. Because that whole pre-med biology aspect was just stressful. Like, science at Spelman is 10 times harder than science in the real world, which was already hard. I failed a lot of my classes, specifically biology, and I lost my scholarship. So summer break, my advisor hit me up like, you lost your scholarship, you got to do this appeal letter to get it back. And I was devastated. Like, if it's not meant for me to be at this school, why can't I just get that through my head? Like, why am I going through all these ropes trying to be here when it's nothing but stressful? I'm a 4.0 student and I can't even pass my classes because I started out behind. I didn't have no books because they were like $500, but by the time I ended up getting my books after paying all this money trying to get my foot in the door, I was just drained. I was just trying to survive, not even thinking about academics. I'm literally going to this bougie school where girls come into class wearing red bottoms, and I'm barely enrolled in school. So I wasn't thinking about making no friends. I was literally trying to keep my head leveled. So fast forward, I lost my scholarship. I get back and she's like, well, you can either major in math and I can give you a scholarship, or you can major in art and I have a half scholarship. And then you would have to find a job so you can cover like your remaining balances, because my last semester basically everything was covered. I didn't get no money back, like no refund check or nothing like that, but I didn't have to stress or worry about coming out of pocket just to start school. So that was cool. Y'all, eyebrows be taking the longest part. That's why when I get done with this, I just be done with my makeup. Like, I cannot afford to be spending an hour with all the 5,000 things I be doing in a day. So that's pretty much what happened. I ended up getting the art scholarship, which is what I should have done in the beginning, because like that's my life. Like, I love art. I'm so creative. I'm so artistic. I can literally make anything. So I was pretty excited to start my semester after that. I ended up getting a job through one of my friends. My best friend, she plugged me. That's another thing. Connections is everything to me. Like, it's rare that I got my foot in the door by applying to stuff. Like, even though I know I qualify, like, that kind of stuff be taking too long for me. I be needing to know. I'm so impatient. Like, am I gonna get this or not, so I can keep it moving? So I ended up getting a job at the dean's office, and I worked there freshman year to senior year. So that kept me super focused. In the summers, I would come back and I would work, and whatever money I had, I would put it towards like my tuition, remainder balance, or books. Just being super responsible. Like, Spelman really helped me realize, like, you can have whatever you want as long as you work for it. I was so used to knowing that I could get by, or I could wing my way through life. This point in my life, I really had to work for what I wanted. Like, it did not come easy. And listen, 24-hour look what I was about to do, put this dark makeup on my face. 24 hours up all night studying, calling my friends back home, who having them help me study for tests. Like, we used to make up little cheat code, like funny jokes, and I would be taking my test thinking about the jokes my friends made to help me remember the answers to the test. All the bonds and friendships I have, they've been through everything with me. That's why I'm so quick to support and be there for my friends and family who had my back when I was going through all these different life changes. Spelman had to be one of the most rewarding but stressful points of my life. And even though it was hard, I would still recommend any young woman to have that experience. I encourage everybody to go to college, but sometimes you just gotta know when something is not for you. Like, college is not for everybody. It's so hard. It takes a lot of focus, dedication, and if you don't know what you want to be in your future, don't waste your time going to school, paying for it just because you feel like you need it, because you really don't to some extent. Like, I say for doctors and lawyers and engineers, it's good to go to college. Like, me as an artist, I mean, it helped give me resources and structure, but not so much $100,000 salary. Like, you still have to work for that, and in this day and age, you still have to go back to school. I feel like Spelman just put me on a pedestal, and it gave me a head start that I didn't have before I went there. Like, now, a person just knowing that I went to Spelman, they already treat me different. Like, I'm already in conversations, and I'm already one step ahead of the game by being a Spelman graduate or just a college. I mean, yeah, I don't like to make something seem like it's more than what it is, but me being a college graduate definitely gave me an advantage. Like, I could get most jobs that I have no experience doing that I probably would hate easily. Like, receptionist, just entry-level jobs would be easier for me because I have a degree. But a job in my career, I would really have to have experience. Careers, actual careers that I'm interested in, as far as what I majored in. Like, I majored in art history, so I wanted to do curation of exhibits and galleries. And whenever you go to museums, they have like a educational aspect to educate you on what's going on throughout the galleries, different artists and stuff like that. So in Milwaukee, I worked at the museum in the education and programs department, and I basically interned there, and that helped me get my foot into the door at the High Museum of Atlanta. I was the education and programs assistant. So I basically put together programs and educational art projects for kids that related to the art museum, and that was pretty dope. Like, I love doing that. I always encourage people to do what they love. Like, don't do something because it looks easy or the next person is making money off of it. Like, I do a lot of stuff. I make shirts, I can do hair, I can do anything to make some money, but I'm not gonna stress myself out for no dollar bill. I will cut off a person, place, or thing that stresses me out. Your peace has to be your priority, and that's with anything. So, like, yes, I could have changed my mind and had gone to a different school, but I didn't want to. I knew that was a part of my journey. I knew that was my destiny. My face is a little dark, but you know what? See, that's why I ain't do no tutorial, because I ain't no master at this right now. Okay, that look good. So when I graduated from Spelman, I was so emotional because I literally went through so much, even trying to get back to school every semester. Like, it was always something going on back home. So I didn't really want to leave my family until I knew that they were straight, and like, I wouldn't have to come home for a family emergency. Yeah, going to school out of state is also stressful. Being away from family, like, that really made me so humble, because I was one of those people who could always like sell something. I knew once I got my foot in the door, I'll be able to do hair on campus, which I did. And I used to make earrings and jewelry, and I would sell that. And like, I don't know, that's really important. You have the same 24 hours as your sister, your brother, your cousin, your friend. All you need are resources, consistency, and freaking hustle. So right now I'm pretty much doing my own thing, running my businesses, minding my business, and I'll tell y'all about that in another video. But pretty much my journey through Spelman was not easy, and a lot of things in life are hard. You just have to find what you're willing to put your all into and just do it. And don't do it for other people or to make somebody else proud. Do it for you. Visualize yourself as the best version of yourself that you can be, and just really make yourself proud. I always tell people to stop depending on other people. Like, I hate when somebody is venting to me and they're always talking about what this person said they were going to do and they didn't do it, so that's their reason that they're not doing something. Like, that person is not obligated to do anything for you. I don't even care if it's your parent. Some of our parents didn't even finish doing the things that they wanted to do in their life. So how can we feel some type of way that they're not giving us a life that we dream of? If you want a life that you dream of, you need to go out and get it, because nobody's gonna give it to you. Even Miss Jackson, I can sit here and say she gave me those scholarships, but she saw something in me that I was able to show her. If somebody believes in you, you'll know, and they'll be willing to help you and put you in a position to get ahead. Like, it's some people that I will invest in, or I'll give my resources to with the heartbeat, because I can see their drive, their motivation. But it's also some people who feel entitled to me helping them, making them logos, making them flyers, doing stuff for their business because they see it's easy for me. Just because it's easy for me doesn't mean that you deserve my time. And I'm not the type of person that you can just pay to do something, because if your energy or vibe is off, I don't want to work with you. Because listen, you're going to stress me out, and then I won't be able to provide you with the best version of my work because you're draining me. You do not need people in your life just around you and know in any way that drains you. Sometimes you just really have to disconnect from the world. Turn your phone off and just figure out what you need to do without incorporating all these other people, fitting people in your schedule. Put you first and then help other people. And that's if you want to. If it's not genuine, you really shouldn't be helping anybody. And that's just my personal preference. Like, if I feel forced and it's not really my best work, then I won't do it. I worked hard to be able to do the things that I can do quickly. And that's because I have mastered that. I have not mastered you rushing me, because no. And you don't have to explain yourself. If you're not the type of person that does not like to be put in awkward situations, just say that up front. Just say no. Don't say I'm gonna get back to you, because in your head you know that it's too much. So to wrap up my whole story, I was really dedicated to graduating from Spelman in 4 years, because I wasn't about to get, what's that, $40,000 times 4. That's a lot of money. I could have went to school in Milwaukee for 4 years for that price. Do I regret it? A little bit, but not really. I just wish I would have worked and saved and just really been more aware of what I was getting myself into. Like, I really had to make some stuff, make my dreams come true overnight. That's why I'm really big on getting stuff done. Like, I'm on time. Like, I'm not a procrastinator. I'm not a needy person. I hate depending on people. Like, if I have to depend on somebody, I have no expectations. I'm just like, it's gonna happen or it's not. And that's my fault for even putting myself in that situation. I have to depend on somebody, because 9 times out of 10, if I'm depending on somebody, it's because I really don't know what I'm doing, or I can't do it myself, or I waited till the last minute. So yeah, if I had to give some advice to you or my younger self or somebody who is going to college, I would say to use your resources and pretty much network. Because some people can get you into doors that an application cannot. If I give someone a connection, my name is attached to it, you're gonna be straight. My people will look out for you. You are going to have all the free game in the world. So like, I'm very careful about who I let into my circle, because some people just want to be around to use you, and then they go about their business. So yeah, Spelman was cool. I love the sisterhood, the culture, to being confident. I used to be so shy, and I used to be a crybaby. Everything made me sad, everything made me cry. But when I got to Spelman, I realized so many girls were going through the same thing as me and still making stuff happen. So I was like, yeah, I can really do this. And I always used to imagine myself like walking across the stage and actually just being done. Like when I got to sophomore year, like the end of sophomore year, I knew I was graduating from here. I'm like, y'all gonna have to drag me out of here if y'all think that I'm not getting no degree after I didn't put 2 years into this school. I used to come back early just to show my advisor how dedicated I was. Like, I did not care about no summer break. I literally dreamed about getting back to school to do classes. I knew if I got too comfortable, it was gonna be a wrap. I had this quote that I used in my letter to Spelman. Many are called, but only the invited show up. So even though so many people think that they could get into Spelman, it don't matter how much money you have. You ain't going there if they don't pick you. I'm a regular person just like everybody else. I worked hard and I made it out of Milwaukee. That was like my biggest dream. I wanted to come to Atlanta and move my family here. I'm still trying to get all my little family here, but I'm definitely in a better position than I was. So yeah, that's my little motivation for today. I encourage everybody to follow their dreams, no matter what it is. Nothing is too big, nothing is too small. If you want to do something, write it down, pray on it, manifest it. Don't just want something so bad and not be willing to work for it. There's so many people out here that are so talented, gifted, and just waste their potential. And if that's you, listen, we have 6 more months. We're halfway through 2020. So hopefully I inspired somebody to start their business, apply for school, apply for your master's. I don't know, start a boutique, start a daycare, start to love yourself. It just starts with you. Whatever you want in life, just be willing to work for it. Don't expect handouts or favors, because that's the easiest way to set yourself up for failure. Just because a person said they were going to do something for you doesn't mean it's going to get done. So put your trust and energy into yourself, and I promise you, you can make anything happen. And that's it. This is my finished look.